Hi buddy, so this is on the Sleepaway Camp Survival Kit. Then this is from Anchor Bay, and first off, this is the box kit, and I want to say that this is actually very well designed, and they even include a little manual, so to speak, you could say. So they all come in like this, and you have right here, they have all these these designs, and it's actually really funny. And then they have like a manual, like diary. And it's pretty funny. They actually talk about things you need for camp, and one of them was like poison and battery acid. So I mean, kind of just gives I haven't really read through it, but it just seems like synopsises of the movies and just like the different things. Yeah. Sleepaway Camp 1 is actually a fairly decent movie, and it actually has a pretty simplistic plot, so I mean there's nothing too complicated going on, I would say. And it even has some funny jokes every now and then. It's often compared to the Friday the 13th franchise, which is obviously something that is expected considering the fact that it actually is the camp setting, and it can be considered a knockoff of the movies, but I find it actually is good enough to stand on its own. But it does have the similarities to the Friday the 13th franchise, most notably the first Friday, because in this one it's similar to the first Friday because you don't know who the killer is and you don't know what's their incentive, so it's a mystery in that sense. And then again you have, like the first Friday, there's a killer sneaking and stalking about throughout the movie. So there, and there's POV shots and things like that. So it just really kind of leaves you with a Friday the 13th like feel. The movie claimed to have a huge shock ending, as they said, and when you find out who the killer is, it's not really shocking at all because you honestly narrow it down to 2 people. So it's pretty obvious in that sense, but they throw another twist at you that is really random and fucked up. So in that sense, yeah, it deserves a title of shocking ending. A sequel, honestly, not the best idea to go, in the franchise. Definitely not the best direction to go in, I mean. But, you know, people just want money and people get greedy. But maybe this is sequel's actually a rare occasion of people doing it out of passion, but, you know, I mean, I doubt it. Anyway, this movie is not as good as the first one. It honestly is just okay. I mean, it feels more mediocre, you know, it feels more amateur. So, again, these movies are compared to the Friday the 13th franchise, and I can see why, I mean, obviously, but if anything, they should be compared to Nightmare on Elm Street, in the sense of killers, because Freddy Krueger is often considered the only serial killer with a personality, with an actual speaking voice. But Angela Baker, the killer in these movies, she is out there. I mean, she is very similar to Freddy. I mean, you know, she talks and she's twisted, she's fucked up, and she even tells jokes. I mean, so, you know, the only thing is that she just doesn't really have anything like a fucked up face. But the one big flaw with these movies is the fact that they're just not scary. And even with the first, all of them actually, it doesn't even seem like the makers tried to scare their audience at all. I mean, it just, they didn't. I mean, if they did, they failed completely, but I really didn't get the notion that they were trying to. Also, there's not that much blood either, which is a little bit weird from a slasher flick from the 80s. Also kind of a disappointment, and I know blood isn't the thing to watch a horror movie for, but I mean, with movies like these, honestly, with just a body count franchise like Sleepaway Camp, what more can you expect? I mean, death scenes are one of the only reasons you'll come to the movies. Also, death scenes weren't too innovative, so I mean, that's another thing. So, with all that being said, I mean, it just comes down to being an okay movie, you know? Okay, Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland. What else can I say about this movie? I mean, honestly, this movie was a disappointment. I mean, it was shit, yeah. But I mean, what could you expect from, I mean, how much could you expect from a cover like this? I mean, like, what the fuck? I mean, this is ridiculous. It's stupid. I mean, honestly, to me, this cover just says, "Hey, watch this, cause there's sex and lots of cleavage." So, I mean, that's just honestly what it says to me. And what's up with the covers? I mean, they all just started getting worse. I mean, it's like you have the first one, which had amazing original artwork that's really cool, you don't see in movies now. And then they started coming down to things like this. And what's up with the second one's artwork? I mean, look at this. I mean, were they just trying to be controversial or something? I mean, did they get sued for this, honestly? Because, I mean, you can clearly see a hockey mask, Jason's mask, and Freddy's glove. Like, what the fuck? So the movies in the series progressively got worse, but the cast in this one is just awful. I mean, you have the most cliched type of characters ever. You have a thug. You have a guy who's nice, but he's actually an asshole. You have a city girl. You have a country girl. You got a bunch of douchebags. You have fucking rich people, poor people. You know, you got fucking people who like to have affairs, and then you got bitchy camp counselors. I mean, it's just an awful cast, and considering the fact that they are all awful actors just makes it even worse. Even the killer Angela lost some of her charm. Overall, the plot is okay. I mean, it's nothing special, but I mean, the thing that pissed me off the most with this one is that they had some actually innovative ideas for deaths, but they were just executed so poorly. I mean, it was just like a what the fuck type moment. I mean, they had a death scene where one of the camp counselors got buried in sand. Her head was sticking out of the ground, like the sand was up to here, and she was out of the sand, and Angela was pushing a lawnmower towards it, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be awesome, but it turned out to be shit, so that, I mean, that kind of made me mad. And there was one death scene that was actually kind of cool, where they actually tied a girl, Angela tied a girl to this pole, and the pole was really tall. It was at least like 20 to 30 feet. It was a flagpole, and she rolled it all the way up to the top and let her go, and she fell down to the bottom, and that one was pretty cool. And there was another death scene too that was cool, but was executed shittily. Which was one where a guy was tied to a tree, and he had his arms tied behind his back with the rope, right? And the rope that had his hands tied together was tied to the end of a car, and so Angela got in the car and started like driving away. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so awesome, he's gonna get his hands ripped off. But like, she drove away, and then he was like, ah, screaming, whatever, and then it just cut to black, and I was like, that's shit. I mean, honestly. So yeah, and also the blood is pretty much virtually all gone. This one wasn't gory. It was the least gory of all of them, so I mean, it was just a disappointment. So I mean, it was just made for a somewhat stupid and boring, extremely amateurish movie. And there is a fourth disc, which is scenes from the unfinished fourth one, and I looked through it. It's just like 25 minutes of a girl just running through the woods. That's it. It's really, really boring, and didn't seem interesting at all. So honestly, if this was actually one of the movies, I mean, it wouldn't be that good at all. So overall, I mean, it's actually an okay series. I actually would recommend it. Not a whole lot, but I mean, the first one's an okay one to check out. So yeah, I mean, they're just okay movies. I mean, you know, they're nothing too special. You know, not too shit-tastic for a trilogy, but yeah, I'd say it's worth a check out. Anchor Bay did a good job, great job with the boxing. So yeah. And also, if you hadn't noticed, I actually moved my movie collection. It expanded over the holidays because I did some movie lots on eBay, so I have a lot more, and I actually moved it into a casing, which you saw in the intro. So yeah, more reviews coming soon. See you guys.